And this is Becky, and we're with A Couple of These Read.
Yes, and we also write, and we also go to writers' conferences.
Yes.
And this weekend, we got to go to the Southern Christian Writers Conference.
Yes.
I've gone to a conference of theirs that was virtual, but I've never gone to an in-person one. So we got to go to the in-person one in Birmingham, Alabama. And I got to speak.
And you took me.
I took you. Yes, that was
Yeah.
I took Becky. Becky came with me. So she got to experience it and meet a lot of amazing people in the publishing industry.
Wonderful.
I was actually asked to speak, which is amazing because I am a Christian, but I do not write Christian fiction.
Right.
So when I was first asked to speak online, I was like, my book isn't really like a Christian book. It's pretty clean, but...
And it has aspects about her struggling with her faith, and there's a priest in it.
There is a priest.
And
he
they do
shows
go to
up.
church sometimes.
There's one church service, but
it's still not Christian fiction.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But they still wanted me to come in and speak, and it was an honor to do so. I got to talk about how my book got published. I got to talk about how to write a query letter, and I'm sure I will be posting pictures all this next week on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me there, please do, because I will be talking a lot about this conference. It was an amazing opportunity, and I met a lot of amazing,
it was very inspiring
authors.
So
Becky, you went to several sessions that you really enjoyed.
I really did, and my first session was with Susan Mohr, Mohr, and she is like a life coach and a lot of other things too. And I guess I should say I'm starting my writing journey. So I know that after my daughter passed away from leukemia, I know the Lord wanted me to write a book about my journey of faith. And that was 37 years ago, and I have not been very obedient because I have not done it. I kind of started it last November and typed up some things that I had found that I had written back then, which was really interesting to go back and read that. But it's like I've just been, I don't know, just haven't been able to do that for whatever reason. But anyway.
Well, it's a very difficult topic to write about.
It is.
It is a memoir that's dealing literally with the most difficult time in your life.
Sure.
So
that is true. And, of course, I'm not going to chase that squirrel right now, but I'm going to go back to the conference. Anyway, Sue was just phenomenal because she was talking about, how to make money off of your writing and different ways and everything. But it was more than that. And she just really spoke to me. And I just really prayed about it all day and all night, and like chased her down the next day and said, I need to talk to you. I have to talk to you. And I said, it's just not a need, it is a must. I must talk to you. And she said, well, great, come and sit down. And we talked, and we're moving on from here because she's gonna work with me, and we're gonna get this done. And I just loved her. She offers a lot of things. So that was my very first workshop that day, and it was I found it to be very inspiring and influential in my life just over the weekend. So it offered, if I got nothing else out of it, that alone was enough. And but I got a lot of other things out of it. So
yes.
I like books, and they have a series that the people that have worked with them for a long time have written, and I got these because they sounded very interesting. And the opening session, they had Stephanie Rhoda, Words of Excellence, Called to Write. I can't wait to read this. This woman was hilarious. And
she was their opening session.
She was their opening session there. Hey, tips 101. If you've never been here before, this is what you need to do. And this woman is amazing. I mean, she's got, I can't remember, was it 7 or 9 adopted children? And I'm just like, wow, that is amazing. And now she's already up to like 5 grandchildren and everything. So it was just great. And then there was stuff for everybody. I bought this for our youngest. She was there. And this is Stephanie also that she wrote. So she has things for children and for adults, and she was very inspiring as well. And then we came across this other lady, and I would have loved to have bought the whole kit, but I'm going to Pigeon Forge to a quilt show next week, so I needed to save money. So I only got the book. But my granddaughter loves anything ballerina related and everything, and her best friend is Olivia. And we saw this, and the main character in here, one of the main characters is Olivia, and she's blonde, and Faith is dark-headed like our little girl is. And so we just knew that we had to get this book.
Under the Willow by Lee Murphy, illustrated by Cheryl Lee. Lee
yes.
Murphy was there. She was so kind, so sweet.
And I really would like to have had the whole kit, the whole thing.
They had. She had like. It was a kit
suitcase,
where you got the doll, you got the stick figures,
and the stage, and all the little characters, and that might be something we revisit for like Christmas or something for our little one, because she will really like that.
Yes.
Then I had a session, because you and I have talked about this, and I don't think we've talked about it with anyone else, but you and I have talked about co-authoring like a Bible study or a devotion or something like that. And Kara Snyder was amazing. She was a keynote speaker on Friday, and
she made me sob, because here's the thing, in Christian circles sometimes it feels like when I was growing up, it felt like we weren't allowed to talk about anxiety and depression because God was just supposed to fix everything.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. Like, God wants you to work through things. If you read the Psalms, David had to work through anxiety and depression. He had to work through it. He prayed to God about it.
Yes.
Like, the first 30 Psalms are all about him being like, I'm really sad because my friend Saul is trying to murder me.
Yeah.
So he had to work through some deep stuff. So honestly, it's a little upsetting that there are still Christians out there who are like, you don't need help, you just need Jesus. And I don't think Jesus was ever against us getting help. That's why God gave David Jonathan.
That's exactly right.
And Kara Snyder really gave a great...
Yeah. She talked about her struggle with anxiety. I mean, she ministered in her church and everything, and how just one conversation with a friend, she decided to be honest, and it just really, the friend was like, oh, I thought you had it all together, and I don't, and all of this. And then they realized there was a commonality there, and it really opened the door for her to go out and continue ministering, but continue to minister in a different way to different people.
And one thing she pointed out, and I just have to say this one thing, because I've never thought about it this way. Jesus in the Garden of Yosemite, before he goes to give his life for the world, they ask him, how are you? And he says, my soul is upset. Like, he doesn't lie like so many of us will do. We're fine. Oh, I'm fine. My life is fine. All good. Jesus is honest with his besties. Right. And that's something she pointed out that I was like, oh, that's a great point. If Jesus is our example of how to live.
Well, and I think that is the point, that the reason Jesus can understand us is because he suffered the things that we've suffered. And, that's why he can relate. His humanity relates to our humanity. And I'm going to tell you, Karis's class was about how to write a devotion. And when I got out of there, it was like, wow, I have a blueprint to go by. And I said, Kayla is going to love this. And, because I have this blueprint now that we can actually work from. And, and she was really good, because she had us think about and talk to the people at our table, why do you want to do this? Know your why to begin with. And then, the lady at our table who, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but she started C. Jane Wright, and she was phenomenal. I loved talking to her, and she was talking about a devotion she wanted to write, and when she was describing it, I said, "Oh, so you're writing a devotion for me?" Because it was for older women who, just because you're 66 doesn't mean your life is over. You can have new adventures, and you can grow, and you can continue to learn. And that's what she wanted to write about, was like empowering women to understand their worth and that. And so she was awesome, and I'm looking forward to hers when she writes it. But my thing was joy. I said, now I know that sounds crazy. Here I am talking about writing about my journey through the death of my daughter and dealing with grief, but the devotion that I did that has been running around in my head for a long time is joy. And I think the point is, yes, we all have grief, but we don't want to stay in grief. Everybody wants to have joy. And so it's, how do you come through that and gain joy? And I think that's where my first devotion is going to go, is to deal with that. And then we had the amazing T.I. Lowe. She was incredible.
So first of all, like, Becky was talking to someone about quilts, as she does.
Yes.
And T.I. Lowe was at a table by herself. So I was like, I'm going to go make a friend.
And she does.
As I do. And T.I. Lowe, she is from South Carolina. She is a Southern girl, just like me. And it was so great getting to talk to an author. She's written 22 books.
Won the Christie Award.
This one won the Christie Award.
Yes. And won a lot of other awards too.
Yeah, it's won 2 Christies, I think. Best overall book written in 2024. So she's obviously done amazing things, and getting to talk to her was such an inspiration. Partially because, like, one thing I've been struggling with, and I can be open here. We're open on this blog.
Yes, that's right.
One thing I've been struggling with is, yes, my book comes out next month. I should be, like, at the height of excitement. But there's also all these questions, like, well, will it sell well? My pre-sales are fine. Like, I should be happy. But again, there's this question. Will it? Will, I've already got a contract for the second book. It's coming out in 2026. Will I get the third book? Will my other unrelated books sell? Will I be able to continue this? So even though I should be 100% excited because I'm doing the thing that I've always wanted to do, I'm becoming a published author. Like, this is my dream come true.
Right.
I'm also allowing this fear and anxiety to come into play. I'm questioning everything. As we do, any women watching us, we do this.
Yes,
Men probably too.
We do.
But, so it was just really a blessing to get to go to this conference and be confronted with, like, hey, this has happened for you. Why do you doubt that it's going to happen again? Like, why do you doubt that God's going to make this happen? And, like, just my conversation with her, whether it was intentional or not, that's the lesson she taught me, is that it's going to, if this is what you're called to do, it's going to work out. She talked about, she first queried the agent she really wanted in 2014. And then it wasn't until 2017 that she got a yes from this agent.
Because her original thing was a no.
Yeah, the agent originally told her no. She'd made some changes, reached out and queried her again.
Right.
And I just thought, how wild is that? To believe in yourself for that long, to fight for that long.
Yeah, and then Francine Rivers
it's Francine Rivers' agent. Yes.
Yeah, had written a blurb for her new book.
So she's amazing. That's T.I. Lowe. If you have never read any of her books, her first book with Lulu's Cafe.
And it does deal with abuse.
It does deal with abuse.
So,
and that's another thing she had to deal with as a Christian fiction writer. People were like, how dare you talk about this topic? But hey, people, Christians also deal with abuse.
And if you're a Christian and this is something God's put on your heart, and we all know there are hurting people out there, and that's what we're called to do, is to go out and help and to offer them the hope of Jesus Christ. And that's all we have to offer, is his hope.
And it's also important, because this book, I believe, is hers, that deals with mental illness. It's also important to realize that us as Christians, we're not immune
No.
to abuse, to mental illness, to any of those things.
To anxiety, to all of that. You know, we all have to deal with that.
And that's something just to keep in mind. Whether you're a person of faith or not, we're not trying to brainwash you.
But
we are speaking
this is who we are.
Of who we are, of what we personally believe. And I think it's important to always point out, where we can grow as human beings,
that's
and
right.
where we can grow as better people.
Yeah.
And that is what I got from this conference, is how I could grow, how I can remember to, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or what, but not putting myself down and celebrating the victories.
That's right. That's what we have to do, and have confidence in ourselves that the way, like I said earlier, if I'm supposed to write this book, which I know I am, I expected it to be easy, and it's not easy. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't do it because it's not easy. It just means I should buckle down and find out how to do it and work through it.
And absolutely. And one thing I will add, the benefit for me of going to this conference, just being able to talk about my faith openly with like-minded people. So I gave a speech that I've given at numerous other conferences. But I added in this note, was at the end of my publishing journey for Chase Harlem #1, this book that I had been told would never sell. Like, nobody wanted it.
That's right.
I finally got a yes. And at the end of that beautiful journey, that was full of me basically being sad and feeling rejected a lot, there was this reminder that God has a plan. And it's hard for me as a writer, as someone who makes up stories and who plots things. I'm a plotter, not a pantser. That means that I plan out my stories. As someone who is a plotter, who tries to plan out my stories as well as my own life, God just said with my publishing journey, like, no, I have a plan, and it's not the same as yours. And you know what? It's better because I'm the author of all things.
That's right.
And I got to add this note in my speech, just as a quick aside, and then I got into how to write a query. And I didn't think anything of it until the end when someone came up to me and she said, that's what I needed to hear today.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's powerful when we talk about our emotions, when we talk about our drive, when we talk about our true heartfelt beliefs.
Right.
So keep that in mind if you are a public speaker, if you are in the Christian fiction realm, keep in mind what you're doing, what your passion is, and how that passion is going to reflect on others. That's what I learned this weekend from people who do it better than me. And I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful. And
just give a shout out to Cheryl Ray and her mom and dad who started the Sloans, who started the conference many years ago. And she did a phenomenal job in her family and one of your former students.
I know.
It's so funny. She was there, Scout was there helping and everything. And this is just amazing, the connections that were there. So just, I would say, reach out, look out. Where can you go? Where can you get your inspiration? And maybe next year it's the Southern Christian Writers Conference, or maybe it's Killer Nashville or BoucherCon or some other conference. I don't know. But, whatever you got, understand this, that I'm 66 years old. I've been supposed to write this book for 37 years, and it's finally beginning to happen. So you're never too old, and it's never too late to reach your potential. So just do it.
all right.
And
until next time, guys, what are you reading? Let us know in the comments, and reach out with any questions or answers you have for us, because we're always full of questions. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.